Did Cheddar lie about UK Parliament address? Recently, he told us that he was at the British Parliament and he was the first leader in Africa to go there and apologize. There you can see him talking to some people at a certain place he calls the British Parliament. This nation is so good at finding out what is true and what is not true, as long as they are interested. And he was taken into a committee room where they sat and had a conversation. As to who attended this or not, we are yet to have more detail. But certainly, it was not an official event. Therefore, for Cheddar to go out there and say that he apologized officially on behalf of all Africans. He's the first African leader to go to a committee room of the UK Parliament. Is that what you're saying? He wanted to lampoon us and lie to us, the trickster that he is, and he's told us this kind of lies a number of times. This is for the first time. He's here boasting with his white European PRO that, oh, you know, we African leaders, we are coming to apologize to you. I'm the very first African leader to go to the British Parliament. Meanwhile, you went to some cockroach room, some hen coop, right there at the British Parliament. Yes, you went there and you apologized on behalf of her to make it look like some serious event.
Abrachefo yede asemde enene yede ewo mokwano ene say Zion's Home Care Service ede abase mo mama wo Ghana omuni sebehwesofo ombehwe wo mo no asemde ene yede nam omoye service bi say assistant living, home health care, custodial care, any services bebre ebia omami enyini sebe owo yare bi enu nti obi ampese obeboa obetimi de omako Zion's Home Care Service na omubeshe umame amount. Enti omu number no for more information ubetimi afre 0543 926 236. Ana mo amoso mo amanone I mean abroad +31 62 51 47 236. Afen so omu wo website bebrene so wo Facebook Zion Home Care 1@yahoo.com. Ana ewo Instagram no Zion_Home Care. Yedamasi.
I'm sure leader and founder of the new force with Cheddar, not Kwame Bediako Cheddar. And Cheddar no debe tu dra say UK Parliament aton sa friend say omra ebema speech elho. Now after so command speech na busu en some free move no ano hye pay Blakk Rasta so ba betutu bia bobo na Kwame Bediako Cheddar. Busu na so ba jebre aha no con studios. As usual, when say Jema say na election komo who becomes the next president of the Republic of Ghana? Is it Nana Kwame Bediako Cheddar? Is it John Dramani Mahama or is it Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia? And I said Piadon Consul Eshawo and the grandpapa Alan Kwedo Chematin. I was here, Ediam Jesone Abrante, you can't home run your bar, you will run some. I was on him saying Cheddar and Kwame Bediako Cheddar at the Betu on the 10th October, say on the 10th October, Obeko a year UK Parliament. Na near J. Alisayan and who say, Oba common speech a year UK Parliament. Ebusia Ampa on the 10th October, Nana Kwame Bediako Cheddar, Ekupimo UK Montenso. Now after so command speech in the you know, Obekaya or the two just say, one call the first black president, and I said, first black leader, what in UK Parliament, on behalf of a year past president. Now we say after so command speech in the you know, and someone not a free chair banny and they say, and for force to say that Kwame Bediako Cheddar, baby I'll call you know, a whole year UK Parliament. Ebusia ensemble brain na for adbetu just obakaya be the big baba somo nenu na Blakk Rasta so de nsem baba tuda Blakk Rasta say oto de bo ase eye hwehwemu afa na Kwame Bediako Cheddar speech I was so akwa command wo UK no ebusia me pesa me akasa me de me no be kan nsem a eye Blakk Rasta ede tu dwa bra no we program jebre ye gongo hwe ensem a and I am putting someone a Blakk Rasta ɛde tu dwa abra na oye the program yɛnkɔ ne nkɔtie nsɛm korɔ ɛmra sisia.
Did Cheddar lie about UK Parliament address? Who is Cheddar? He's a fashionista. He's a businessman. And he says he's rich. He has so many businesses, he says. He counted his first 1 million. I don't know whether he said pounds or dollars or whatever, when he was just a young guy. Younger than this. It's an achievement, isn't it? But we want to know the source of the money. And he says nobody should ask him. He has explained it several times. But so don't be interested in the source of his money. Because he thinks he has told you enough. But when people doubt him, he doesn't like it. When he says things and people think that this doesn't make sense and they want to stand back and ask him to say it again, there's always a problem. This is Cheddar. Recently, he told us that he was at the British Parliament and he was the first leader in Africa to go there and apologize. There you can see him talking to some people at a certain place he calls the British Parliament. This nation is so good at finding out what is true and what is not true, as long as they are interested. Ghana Web decided to go into this to find out if Cheddar really went to the British Parliament and did he address parliamentarians? Who did he actually address? It says Cheddar speaking in a committee room in UK's Parliament. Committee room in UK's Parliament. It's still the Parliament, but this is a committee room, like the committee for Galamsey, committee for fact finding, blah 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 blah, that kind of thing. It's an office in the UK Parliament. So technically, he went to the UK Parliament, but where did he address the people? And who did he address? Run it by you. Independent presidential candidate Nana Kwame Bediako, widely known as Cheddar, claimed to have presented a petition in the UK Parliament after an address in which he apologized for Africa's misdeeds and called for a great partnership with the continent. In a post shared on X on October 11, 2024, he bragged about his feat, describing himself as the first African leader to apologize on behalf of African leaders for their mistakes, which have caused us economic crisis, currency devaluation, stagnant development, etc., etc. He also indicated that he was the first African leader to present a petition on English soil to the UK Parliament, urging the world to refrain from using their foreign influences to instigate our political systems and become our international commercial partners instead. Go to the next. So when you come down, let's find out whether what he said is true. But was Cheddar at the UK Parliament? And did he present any petition to them? Fact Check Ghana investigated the matter. Here is what they found. So this is Fact Check Ghana. Number one, Cheddar's address was not an official event of the UK Parliament. An official at the press office of the UK Parliament told Fact Check Ghana that the UK Parliament, either the House of Commons, also known as the upper chamber, or the House of Lords, that's the lower chamber, did not invite Cheddar for any official event. In other words, he didn't address parliamentarians. We can confirm that this was not an official parliamentary event. It was hosted by MP Siobhan MacDonald. Emily Hitton, Senior Media Relations Officer of the Communications Office of the UK Parliament, is quoted as saying. So it's one MP who invited him to a committee room. And they sat down there and talked. Can we get more details? Cheddar had his engagement at a committee office, not the parliament. What does it mean? It was also discovered that the independent candidate for Ghana's 2024 presidential election had his engagement in one of the committee rooms of the UK Parliament on October 10, 2024. According to Fact Check Ghana, visuals of the event shared by Cheddar and his Romanian associate, Shalima Abuisi, show a large artwork. Alfred inciting the Saxons to prevent the landing of the Danes. That's the name of the artwork, which was bought by the Fine Arts Commissioners to hang in a committee room in the Houses of Parliament where it remains today. This is the work. And Shalima, remember her? She was the one who was deported from Ghana. A historical night at the UK Parliament. It was an honor to speak as international spokesperson and advocate of change at the UK Parliament, where Nana Bediako petitioned for the pillars to economic freedom. My brother, so it's clear. Cheddar did not address the Parliament of the UK. He was invited by one parliamentarian whose name was mentioned, and he was taken into a committee room where they sat and had a conversation. As to who attended this or not, we are yet to have more detail. But certainly, it was not an official event. Therefore, for Cheddar to go out there and say that he apologized officially on behalf of all Africans. He's the first African leader to go to a committee room of the UK Parliament. Is that what you're saying? He wanted to lampoon us and lie to us, the trickster that he is, and he's told us this kind of lies a number of times. This is not the first time. Remember when he brought those people, the guys, the Pan-Africanists, PLO Lumumba, Mrs. Hombori, Kwame, and the Nigerian man, brought them into the country. When they were interviewed, they said they didn't know that they were coming for a political campaign. What did Cheddar tell them before he brought them here? This was the same guy, the trickster that he is, 419 boy, who told us that we have to trick the Chinese and the white people. We should go and get some roots and leaves, boil them and put them in bottles and tell the Chinese that when they drink it will be tall, and sell it to them or say, you see, I drink. Trickster 419. So he's showing you his real character. And when we say this, there are a few people who say, oh, Blakk Rasta hates this guy. I hate tricks and I hate lies. If that is what you're saying, then okay. Yes, he was at the Parliament House, but he was ushered into a committee room. It was not an official event. So how do you apologize at an event that is unofficial? And you come and tell us that you are the first African on record to enter into the Parliament House, which was unofficial. And then you got into a committee room and addressed some 7, 8, 9, 10 people. And you want to be written in the books of history that you apologize on behalf of all African leaders. What effrontery, what arrogance. You don't qualify. We don't need you to apologize. What have we done wrong as African people? That you went there and apologized for our mistakes. That caused a lot of devaluation of our currency and our economy. We don't need you to do this. You are not qualified. You don't even understand what it is. He doesn't. And he's so arrogant, he won't sit and learn. That's who he is. He claims he's a Pan-Africanist. Yet he doesn't even understand what Pan-Africanism is. He doesn't. How do you go apologizing to Europeans for the mistakes of African leaders that made us devalue our currency and also our economy? He doesn't understand what it is that the European and the Western agenda could be. The Westerner is not interested in making Africa prosper. Africa must always be his backyard garden. Whatever the Westerner will do to suppress Africa, he will. That's why you have to learn and read books like The Economic Hitman. A lot of people have read this book. It's a big, nice book. Fast, page 10. The economic hitman. The moment African people discover some minerals, you see the West jumping in there. They give you loans. Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, congratulations. Take the loan, take the loan, take the loan. When they saddle you with the loan, then they come back to you and say, it's time to pay. Oh, they know you can't pay. If you can't pay, then give us this amount of gold. Sell us. You will sell us only your oil. Don't sell to another account. Things like that. Some of the loans even come with strings attached. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. You must read that book as well. Read books by Kwabena and Kwame. You will never go and say you are apologizing to Europeans for the mistakes of Africans. What mistakes? We only have stupid leaders who are killing the youth in our country. Silly leaders who don't have any common sense to be able to deal with the situation in Africa. So if there's any apology at all, apologize to the youth of Africa who have been misled by some silly old men in power. They are those you have to apologize to. And if in extension you want to still apologize, apologize to Cheddar who gave us sense yet we can't think. Not to some European who always wants Africa down there. This guy is so arrogant. Who gave him that thing, that effrontery to go and apologize on our behalf? Whose behalf? It's annoying. And now he's here boasting with his white European PRO that, oh, you know, we African leaders, we are coming to apologize to you. I'm the very first African leader to go to the British Parliament. Meanwhile, you went to some cockroach room, some hen coop, right there at the British Parliament. Hen coop. Then you come out to tell us you were in the British Parliament. Yes, you went there and you apologized on behalf of us to make it look like some serious event.
I'm sure video number sana what we see AOFA. But so o comment no e hu hia ye pa yi. For I didn't check to comment section as my uwie nso so ahụ share video no ma afofo so nsa entumi enka bi and someone Blakk Rasta edit to dwa no wo say Ghana web so hwehwemu afa UK Parliament speaker na Kwame Bediako Cheddar de betu dwa no afo so fast check Ghana so e de mo so finance aba betu dwa abusuani nyina nkamfo no kwan na woto wa ba ma no December 7 said na Kwame Bediako Cheddar be wini so o wini ejamenu mienu nyina so abusuani ga meje so ne abrante a big shout out to abrante ujina camera na chipiepia mai the production team Cheddar check sepa enkoma no afen so no abusua ha na me de dwuma de nso ebesi aha ya mail constudio se dem di kan no subscribe na share e ma afofo nso ensa entumi enkabi aha na BBC Macau peace shalom bye bye